Hello and welcome. Please put your hands together for your MC for the day, Tim Restiger.
You guys are still clapping for me. That's a good sign. It's been a few rounds of that, so. How's everyone doing with the post-lunch comatose? Good, because we're going to beat that out of you in just a second. I hope you skipped dessert, because we have one heck of a treat for you. Our next speaker, Jeet Kumar, the CEO of IMTECH, who I've met back in, we were just talking about 2012 when they bought my former employer's building. And we're all standing there going, IMTECH, what in the hell are they going to do? Because what's out of time tech, we're asking ourselves. But long story short, we watched IMTECH build, go on quite the journey. And I'll let Jeet share more about that. And on my notes that I had prepped, I'm going to present Jeet as a person who built a multi-million-dollar business that spans the globe. Like, put that material stuff aside for a second. I don't want to introduce Jeet that way. Jeet strikes me as someone that I would call a servant leader. His leadership is really about pushing or elevating others through his leadership. And with that, does everyone have one of these sheets? You don't want to miss out on this little exercise. Okay, those of you who are not holding it up, I trust you have them. But without further ado, let's get through this post-lunch comatose with a little bit of energy from Jeet Kumar. Why don't you join us on stage, Jeet?
Thank you, Tim. I grew up in India. I was 2 years old when I lost my father. I'm a single mom raised, and I have 4 sisters. I was 8 years old, and it was one of the summers. And I was running around at the rooftop. There used to be always in June, in the month of June, there's a kite festival at my hometown, at the place where I was born and raised. It was evening, about 6 o'clock. And summer in India is not like a summer in Idaho, even it is hot here. We go up to 105, 110 maybe, but in India we go 120. And there was no AC in my, like when someone is trying to figure it out to take care of 5 kids, it was not easy. So I was running around the rooftop, and since there was no fan or air condition or anything like that, people bring food at the rooftop to eat because it gets cooled down a bit. And my uncle, and since my father was no more, we were connected through same rooftop. And I was running around, and on the other side where my aunt was, she brought a cold, like you can see the ice cubes, mango juice, and a steel bowl. Condensation of like the droplet, the water droplet were coming out. It was so chilled and cold, and like when you have a temperature of 120, 125, and a kid like 8 years old, I was just saying, wow, I would love to have that mango juice. And so I say, Aunt, can I have mango juice? And she said, go and talk with your mom. I made only for my family. It's quite natural. I went on the other side of the rooftop where my mom brought food. My 4 sisters were sitting and my mom was standing. And in India, female wear saris, and it's just like you can have a loose end and you can pull. So probably I was this height. I pulled my mom's sari and said, hey, Mom, I want to have mango juice. And before I knew, I got a slap on my right side of the face. And she said, the kid who doesn't have a father don't deserve to eat mango juice. And that kid was broken. Kid was broken, felt like he doesn't deserve to have mango juice. I grew up like this. Little older, cricket was a big deal for me because not having a father to wrestle with, not having anyone to take out your energy at home, cricket was a big deal for me because that was my outlet of energy. I was about 13 years old, and by the way, my son Jay is here. Yes, so he has seen all of this over there. And there was a planned match was there, and it was published in a month in advance that there will be a match of 50 cents a bat, like the two teams were going to play. So I used to get a pocket money about like a cent or two. And so I knew that there will be a game, so I better save the money. So I was saving the money for a month or so, and then the day of the match came up. I was in about 6th grade, and I came out from school. It was like 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and the match, we call it cricket match, not game, but like cricket match. So cricket match was there, and I was just so excited, so looking forward to that match. Came home, threw my stuff, my bag and school bag, and just took my money and went to that field. And cricket is like baseball. Some of you, if you haven't seen, it's like there is a boundary and there are 4s and 6s rather than home runs. And I reached to the field, and I was so excited. I was so looking forward to my month-long wait was about to get over, and I was looking forward to play that match. When I reached over there was 2 brothers who had all the cricket gears belonged to them. And pretty much when they saw, I said, okay, let's go. And they said, no, you're not playing today. And I said, why I'm not playing today? And they said, you're not good enough on this game yet. We're not going to let you play. I was so sad. Saving all the money, had that in my pocket. There was a rope, the cricket field, there is a boundaries, we call that. Sitting outside the boundary, few tears in my eyes, and watched that game for 3 hours. I felt like I don't belong. I don't belong. By the time I reached the age of 21, these are my family, mom and 4 sisters. This is like a 21-year-old boy. There were so many financial obligations. My sister's marriage. In India, we had to give dowry, and there was so much debt got accumulated, both in terms of taking care of the family without having much, plus getting daughters married for my mom, and then for me, I was the one. I had to take care of everything. I finished my junior college that year, and I came back home. in India, we have rituals like the anniversary of, like my father's death. It was anniversary, like he died on June 24th of 74. And so that particular day, there are some rituals you have to take care. And my mom and my 4 sisters, they got up and preparing the food and doing all the things. One of the part of the rituals was to really feed a bird, and that bird has to be crow. You need to have a feast. You take up, rooftop and make sure that happens. So priest came, have a worship, took care of everything, and you need to fast. Yeah, up until then. So I was fasting, and it was about 11:30. And again, month of June, the temperature goes really, really high. And so I put the feast for crow to come and have that feast. And I found a small shade where I could sit down and watch to make sure it has to be crow and not any other bird to feast. And I remember sitting in that small stairs, waiting for that crow to come and have the feast. My feet was absolutely dirty. Whatever clothes I had. And when I came back from the junior college, I got a job offer of $500 a month. And knowing that this is not going to help the family. I found the love of my life in that junior college. I wanted to get married. I wanted to settle down. I wanted to take care of all the debt. And all that was happening. And I was sitting over there and waiting for a crow to come. And it's like outer body, like fly on the wall. I was watching my own thing. I was very sad. I was scared. I felt like I'm all alone. How am I going to do this? How am I going to take care? Those were the burdens I grew up with. And it is the design of humans. We all grow up like this, one way or the other. Those were mine. I want you to go back down memory lane. Think back to when you were growing up. And see some of the stuff which I felt I don't deserve. I don't belong. I'm all alone. See some of those, take your sheet and then see first 2 columns of the sheet. If you find maybe in school you were not smart enough, maybe while you were playing sports you were not good enough, maybe you were getting something and were told you're not going to get it, or you were bullied. I would like you to take a few minutes and see if you can go back down memory lane and then see what you see for yourself. What happened and what you told yourself, why me? I'll give you a few minutes. What challenges and memories do you still have that haunt you? You might have only one, you might have two, you might have three, you might have more. I want you to really go down memory lane. Go down. Take about 30 more seconds. When you are done, you look at me. I know you are done. See, we all were born as a clean slate. And who we are today is based on what happened up until now. There is a quote, Emily McDonald or McDowell. It says something like this: finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a kid that became your belief about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself and unlearning an excavation, remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you. In reality, actually you don't find yourself. You truly discover yourself. See, the finding means you already had and you lost it, like finding your keys at home, inside, like, okay, I'm ready to go to office and I can't find my keys. That means you had and you lost it. That's what finding looked like. The discovering is something that you didn't even know. You don't even know. And once you discover, you never lose it. It's yours. So you always discover yourself, you don't find yourself. And part of the discovery process is just having this reflection, exploration, is come from called why me to why not me, is one of the things which I did in my life about all the things which happen. Because that's the only way you can start exploring. Because something or other happens always in every human being's life. It's just like when it rains, and if you're outside, you'll be wet. You can't blame the rain. It is the design of being human being. And it is all, in my case, I lost my father, and I felt I don't deserve. I didn't have a chance to play, and I felt I don't belong. And I had all the family and financial obligations. And in my world, I was all alone. But when actually I discovered myself, here is what I became. That mango juice, when I not having, made me quite independent human being. When I was told that you are not good enough, I became so focused and disciplined. In my hometown, no game started without me. Later on, I became so hardworking. And that man was coming out from the teenager times to becoming some man. I became very responsible. So why me can really take you to places where you can have those blessings out of those burdens is why not me? And so I want to invite you to look at your life right now, all the things which you have identified in the first two columns. What happened and why me to see. So who have you become? Because all of those made you someone. If you want to get a good grade, to get a love of your parents, that made you quite probably hardworking and disciplined. And you can see all. If you had challenges in one area, it made you someone and something else. So why not you take a few minutes to think. I want you to look at your life right now and see what kind of human being you have become. When you finish, as always, you can look at me so I know everyone is done. Take your time. I think you can see in my world, once I discovered that it made me really independent, responsible, hardworking. This is Maslow's pyramid. Those who have seen, wonderful way to look at your life. But this is a hierarchy of needs which goes from physiological to psychological level. And first two, it made me, once I became hardworking, responsible, independent, took me to, okay, I don't need to survive anymore for physiological needs. But I needed love. Who cares about this man? For me, it was all, who cares about Jeet? And so love and belonging was such a big deal for me. There is another model. There's a book out there, Tribal Leadership, by Dave Logan and team. They have come up with 5 stages of humans and their mindsets. Life sucks, my life sucks, I'm great, and then we are great, and life is great. 49% people on this planet belong to the stage 3, I'm great, just like Jeet was. I work for HP, and I was someone who was so driven because of all what happened and who I became, to the extent that I could not let people even speak in the meeting room. Like I used to hog the entire thing. Like I got like 5 promotions in 6 years at HP. I was become like coming from India, 99, as a contractor, to start with HP, to become like a lead architect over there. Perry's there. Perry's sitting somewhere. Perry? Yeah, he's there. He and I, you both used to be architect over there. In 6 years, I was so driven. And my agenda was, I'm great, and you are not. Because whenever someone is, I'm great, there's always people who are not great around them. So I used to produce tons of results, but there was no peace inside. I was still that broken kid who was looking for love and affection and affirmation and validation from outside world. I think Dave and team in part of the tribal leadership, they talk about this epiphany one has to have in life that you might have today here and keep exploring in your, as you maybe after this conversation. In my case, I attended a 3 days high intensity personal development program in 2006. I was 35 years old, and it was the second day of the program, and the time was like 10 o'clock. It was scheduled to start, and teacher came, and I was 9:45. I was just like go-getter, result producer, and I was that guy. So I was always 9:45. If 10, I will be always early. And so I was sitting in that room. I still remember. The second row I was sitting, and then teacher came, and a few people were late. And that guy kept beating this call. Okay, you don't understand, you are late, and all kind of stuff that teacher was talking about. So much and so it was like an hour passed, and the class didn't start. And it didn't start, didn't let the conversation go. And I was just like boiling inside. And like, I'm like, okay, let's go. I want to produce results. And so I stood up and spoke up and said, hey, why are you wasting my time? These guys are late. What are you doing? Why not you start the class? And for me, I cared about me. You can see, I'm great. I cared about me. And then teacher said, okay, get the hell out of here from my class, pretty much. Who are you? And he was so loving and caring because he was thinking about the entire group, and I was thinking about me. And so I took my bag, ready to go. And those people who came late brought me back. And then the teacher walked with me. And I truly got present to that day that responsibility was a burden because I was not willing to take responsibility for the entire group. I was thinking about myself only. And so 2006, I really got present to, through that conversation, that I will never have that creation and peace and love and all out what I need to create on this planet until I start thinking about we are great and life is great. So epiphany I got from that conversation was, is it about you, Jeet, or is it about others? And I really want to invite each one of you in this conversation to look at your life and then see, are you really producing results and working hard for people to like you, love you, accept you, respect you, validate you? Or are you really creating that one because you truly believe that there is a greater good out there? Is it not about you? It's about others. Because that's when you truly start getting the peace that when you go from first 3 stages of Maslow's pyramid to the really top self-actualization and creation, because if you think about your life, you feel the happiest when you help someone. I'll let you think for 30 seconds. If you remember most recent happiness and a joy in your life, it must be coming at the time when you help and you took some stand for someone. It's always about others. So the guy who was born here, this is my house. This is the house where I was born and raised, back in India. This is the rooftop which I talked about, the rooftop of this house, where I grew up, to the house I live in right now. And I'm just talking about some of the things which happen because we think about, if we think about others and what will happen, what about me? I said there's so much happen, not only your peace and love and creation and joy and happiness and satisfaction, but you get so much for you in your life. Viju, my wife, son and daughter, I said, Jay is here. Just like we just made few things happen together. Once I discovered myself at that level, started coaching, start really giving back, taking people on, writing books, wrote few, build a company. Some of our employees are here. Our business partner Dan is here. We business from scratch to build a $30 million plus company. Creating those possibilities. Having an employment of 1,000 people worldwide right now, out of which 150 live in the valley. All of that is got possible. Because one day, I really chose, after discovering why me to why not me, to get that epiphany and that life can be great. We are great. So I want you to reflect, if you can turn around your sheet and look at what impact do you want to have on this planet. and some of the places you can go, what get your most attention? Like what kind of YouTube channels and videos, and which things you spend time on more so than others? Instagram, Facebook. Like I really want you to look at what kind of conversation you have been part of. What really gets you going every day? You can't wait to get up, and if bad things happen, you just say, I'm ready to go. Will you give an idea about the kind of things, the kind of impact you want to make on this planet? Everyone is different, by the way. So I'll let you think for a few minutes. If this is what your purpose or dream is, what capabilities or constraints that you see? And constraint can be physical or emotional. We talked about why me could be one of those constraints. I'm not that intelligent, or I'm not smart, or I'm not capable, or I don't belong. Or it can be physical. I don't have enough money. I don't have degree. I don't know what kind of constraints you have. But I really want you to look at those as a limitations and then see, why not me? And think about capabilities and assets that you have that will enable and empower you to pursue your dreams. I really want you to make progress on whatever dream, whatever purpose you have identified for yourself. And the best way to do it is to take some actions. Nothing happens until you do. What kind of actions? 1 to 3. You can take in next 30 days. Maybe you want to start side gig. You might want to send someone an email. You might want to sign for gym membership. Or you might want to call a friend today and say, why not? Something we should do this together. You know the best. What kind of actions and steps and things you can take on. Always remember, nothing happens until you do. As you are identifying some of the steps, you need to remember though, not going through this rat race of life called, okay, let's keep going. One has to define success, parameters, definitions, goals, because without them, it's just a never ending. And you need to know, what does that look like? Or how does that come, or how does success look to you? What does that look like? And so for me, when I define my success, I wanted my kids to complete the college education with no debt. Having a family which is connected and bonded and love and affection and caring. Being together. Having an enterprise where our employees are inspired, fully self-expressed, peaceful, loving, caring, joyful, and our partners and our clients are satisfied. All of those were my success factors. What are yours? The thing which you really want to. What does success look like to you? The things which you would like. Money is not buying a house, getting a car. Nothing wrong about those things, but not to impress your neighbor, but it's something that it really makes you feel that you made it. These are some of the things which you can look at. Maybe financial freedom, become an entrepreneur, having a relationship that you really feel like, wow. And I'm really a strong proponent of celebration. It's important to celebrate every milestone. Because not having a way to celebrate is just quite tiring. How long, how much, when, for whom? Life is here. As you achieve, as you create, as you reach to the objectives or goals that you have defined for yourself, have a time to celebrate. And the question which you must ask, who do you want to celebrate your success with? For every human being, there are important members, the people that you want to spend time and celebrate things with. In my case, there are two families I have. I have my own, and I have like founders, like 13 years, we all, 5 of us are together. So absolutely, whenever maybe we close a deal or we achieve a certain target, we found few things, we always take time to celebrate together. The team, worldwide team, in fact, 17 of them are coming here 2 weeks, like from India, and we are going to Sun Valley. 45 of us are planning to go together to celebrate some of the milestones that we have defined for ourselves a few years ago, and having that time together. Viju, my wife, we have been knowing each other for last 33 years and 25 years married. An important member. It's like so much goes together, and taking that time and celebrating with her. And the community that I live, both sides of the planet, and taking a time to be part. And today's conversation is, for me, it's a celebration for being here with all of you and doing this. So it's a long, ongoing journey. Life is like this. And you are truly not here forever. And the way I look at it, as I share, we all came here as a clean slate. And all the burdens, all the challenges we see in our life, until we explore, we will not get to know ourselves how those burdens and those complaints and those constraints that we got without our notice in those difficult times. And those became barriers and challenges. And without getting to know and identify, you cannot free yourself up. And until then, you cannot create. The creation is important because peace inside and results outside. But you can produce tons of results outside without having a peace, and that's what majority of the human beings, like I'm great, half of the population of our planet is stuck there. And so having this exploration, creation, celebration, and then this journey continues. Because we absolutely got a slice of life to experience. The planet was there before we showed up, and the planet will be here way after we are gone. I feel blessed to create what I have created, to create an impact and truly make your life count. I appreciate this so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have 5 minutes. Any question for Jeet? You can come to him. I told him that we are both going to dance if there are questions. He's going to repeat the question, I'm going to answer.
And then we settled that I'm just going to quarterback questions.
Yeah.
Any questions for Jeet?
Please.
Coaching, what is your big focus for a demographic? Do you seek a certain type of student, or do they seek you?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question, Tim, for audience?
Yes, so the question was the main focus of his coaching when he coaches his students, correct?
And now, what kind of student, like the demography of, right?
See, this is why I'm here quarterbacking the question.
Do you typically see that your coaching students seek you, or have you sought them?
Yeah, I think both. Sometimes I put my nose in people's lives without their notice. I intervene. I see, I can truly. And they know, some of are here, they just say, okay. But mostly when I see, because I see them around, that's when I can coach. But quite a few people reach out to me. They get to know, just like you are here, Adam, and then you might talk with someone. We have this abundant coaching. I don't charge much. But up until like 3 months ago, I never charged any money. Tasha said, twist my arm, say, you better do it, Jeet. But mostly look for people who I can make a difference. Maybe I can share. I look for few things before I take on an assignment to coach. 2 things. Is that person open? Because you cannot teach someone who is not open. And then second, will that person do what he said he would do at the time when he said he would do, the quality he said he would do? At least he will try to he will attempt to do. So hunger and openness are the 2 things which I look at before I take on someone on a coaching assignment. But there are housewives, there are entrepreneurs, students, employees, employers, sports person. I've been talking with a few of those. Any kind of. Jay is sick and tired of my coaching as a son.
Oh, he's stuck with it, though.
He's stuck with it.
For free. We have another question?
Yes.
Anka?
Piggybacking on this question, what is the main hindrance that someone being
What is the interest?
hindrance? What gets in the way?
Oh, what is it? Hindrance.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah.
one. Okay.
What constraint, what comes in their way? I think mostly people just lazy by design. And also don't know what they don't know. I'm lazy too, by the way. Humans are lazy by design, and that's for some other day, the conversation. So mostly what comes in their way, they talk a lot, but they don't walk the talk. And reason is because they think it's too much of work. And my goal is to help them to see things in a small baby steps. That if you want to be an entrepreneur, then don't think about building this big company. Start with the small. So seeing things too much and not taking even a single step, not seeing their potential, not connecting with their greatness, not knowing even what is possible for them, all of that comes in their way. And then what I talked about, the stage 3, our own insecurities and things which we need to really get from other people, helping them to explore that portion of their lives, are some other things which I have seen coming in people's way.
So all the hindrances are self-imposed, is what you're saying.
Mostly.
They come
And that's
from
what the exploration is critical. You need to know who you have become before you can create what you want to create. Because the part of the coaching is you want to create something, but without the exploration, you are not that much equipped to create. And even if you can create, you'll not be peaceful because you are doing it for yourself and not for others.
So you have to have some type of level of self-awareness to get to the point where you can explore and you've got somewhere to go where you're at to admit that actually needs some work.
That's it. And my job is to help that person to go beyond. Because going back to those down memory lanes and looking at our own things can be very traumatic and challenging. Could be for some of the human beings. So that's what comes in your way. Go ahead.
Another question?
Last.
Yes, sir.
In IMTECH, what was your go-to-market strategy? Because you've grown this big company.
Yeah.
So what was your go-to-market strategy?
You will laugh at it, but I say I just love. My go-to-market strategy is just love our employees and love our clients. And so what we do, we don't have any formal sales people, quote unquote. And so we are software solution companies. We take clients and we build our own product, but we sell based on what we can create for them. And it comes into the simple word ROI, or you don't pay. Means we are here and committed to create return on your investment, and if we don't, then you don't need to pay us. So when I say love, because money is required to live, but love is the reason to live. So we take out the money portion and we say we are here to make a difference. And when we do that, it just becomes so freeing for people. And that's why we grew at the level where we grow. Now it looks pretty nebulous and, okay, gee, but it really works. $35 million company we built through this simple process called just make a difference.
Actually, Jeet, that's a recurring theme today. So Chris Taylor shared a similar message.
Yeah.
With people working with people, doing stuff for people. He didn't quite say love, I'm interpreting,
Yeah.
but it's very similar. It's a recurring theme.
And in the business setup, people don't use that word. And I just simply say, love is acceptance, love is listening, love is making a difference, showing for other people. You are taking their needs before you take care of your needs. Those are some of the definitions of loving someone or an organization. That's what I see.
We have time for one more? Anyone?
My say 0-0.
I know, I'm giving you one more.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Thank you, team. And by the way, there is a book out there, Create an Impact. It's there on our booth. I'm more than happy to sign for you. Take a copy of it. It's at no cost to you guys. So thank you very much. Appreciate this one more time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is your copy.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
It's autographed, right?
Love you all.
Jeet, I do want to thank you for your inspirational message. The reason I fumbled on those questions earlier is I spent so much time self-reflecting on that piece of paper, it was really hard to then think and speak outward for a moment. I couldn't quite catch up with that. So if you want to see Jeet walk his talk, you should follow him on LinkedIn. I've been following him on LinkedIn, and you can see him and his entire company walk the talk that he's talking about. They do create abundance around the world, so I highly recommend you do that, not just for the entertainment factor. And talking about abundance, we have a limited amount of treats because we're rolling into our next and last break between now and 3:30. So there'll be brownies and cookies served in the exhibition hall. Make sure you get some before they're gone, and then get your brownie-filled bellies back here at 3:30 for our closing keynote. You don't want to miss it. Chief Architecture from Microsoft is here. Enjoy.